Hey guys, this is Paul with Tierline Productions here with another video for you. First off, I just want to say Happy New Year to everybody. Sorry I couldn't get a video to you before the end of 2016, but we're here starting off the new year with a brand new video, talking about some fun stuff. Got some cool stuff in store for this video. We're gonna basically just talk about future plans, an updated look at the locomotive roster, and a couple of short clips of a couple trains running. So first off, we'll get into my plans for 2017. So as I've discussed before on the channel, this is my senior year of college. I'm going to start my my last semester of college on January 16th. So the little switching layout that's in my college apartment that a lot of my recent videos have been coming from, that'll be coming down, and then my fiance and I, which is another big piece of news, will be looking for an apartment down in Erie, trying to find full-time jobs. Hopefully that'll mean I'll have enough space to build a bigger layout once we're moved into our new space. We're looking at either a small 3-bedroom house or maybe a 2-bedroom apartment. We're not sure yet, but depending on what it is we end up getting, that'll depend on whether or not I'm able to have a layout and how big it's going to be. Right now, I'm really shooting for at least having a 6x12 area to build the layout in. That'd be ideal. I mean, if I could get more space, that'd be great too, but I'll take what I can get for sure. So yeah, as I just said, my fiance, obviously that would mean that I got engaged. That happened in October. I don't know if I really talked about that at all on the channel, just because it wasn't really relevant to trains, but the proposal itself happened actually right at Letchworth State Park, which for any local rail fans, they'll know that there's a trestle right at Letchworth. We did it actually right in front of that. Some of our engagement photos actually have a Norfolk Southern train going over the trestle in the background. I might actually flash one of those up here if I can. Just so you guys can get an idea of what it looks like there. But that was a very special moment. So that was a very big part of my 2016 for sure. And the wedding will be in 2017 here. So I'm not sure what'll happen financially, but that may put a damper on the amount of money I have available for trains. Same thing goes for the availability of money for building a layout as well. Being that I'll be finally paying rent and everything on my own in a apartment, it could get a little tough to spend as much as I do on trains right now. But it doesn't mean I'm going to leave the hobby at all. It just means I'm just going to have to cut the spending a little bit until I can afford to do things how I want to have them. So now that we've talked about plans for 2017, why don't we get into an updated look at the locomotive roster? I did, I think, a couple of different roster updates throughout 2016, but as a lot of my longtime subscribers know, locomotives don't really stay on my layout too long. I'm the type of person who likes to have a variety of power. There's always something that catches my eye, and in order to fund purchasing that next locomotive, I usually end up selling off something. So, as you can see here, if you look back at my older roster updates, there's a lot different. I think the only 2 locomotives that were here in my last roster update are the 2 on the right hand side, the -9 and the Lehigh Valley Heritage Unit. In between, I sold off my SD40-2 in order to, actually I traded it for the locomotive second to the left there, the SD70M number 2584. That I did a whole lot of work to as well. We'll get into that in a minute. So those are the only two that I think were around for the last one. I'm not sure, but the 70M flared radiator that's third to the right, that may have been around as well. That one I got, I think, end of July, beginning of August is when I may have gotten that. But that was a huge purchase for me. I've been looking for one of those for a very long time. For anybody who models Norfolk Southern, they know that those 70M flared radiators are sort of hard to come by, for sure. But I ended up getting my hands on one that's got Tsunami Sound installed. Everything works great. I've been running it a lot. You've seen it in a bunch of my videos. It's usually the lead locomotive just because I like it so much. It's in my RIT trains video. It's also in the video I have from running at Tim Anderson's layout as well. So the next locomotive up, this was in, I think it was in both October and November's project updates. That's the Kato SD80 Mac that has lock sound installed, custom flashing front ditch lights, as many may know. That was not a feature able to be produced in a stock locomotive from Kato, so I did have to do some modifications and add some LEDs to get that to work. And then to the left of that, again, is the SD70M non-flared radiator. That was covered in November's project update as well. Installed Tsunami Sound. I'm really impressed with those decoders. I'm definitely going to be using them again. I like them just as much as I like the lock sound decoder I put in the 80 Mac for the most part. That locomotive, as well as the Dash 9, will both be getting, hopefully, LED ditch lights. Throughout the DCC installs in both of those locomotives, I accidentally blew out the incandescent bulbs, unfortunately. So sometime within this year, they will definitely be getting LED light installs for the both of them. And then that brings me to the final locomotive that's here, the GP38-2 that's sitting on the left-hand side. This thing I just purchased actually on Christmas Day. My family really doesn't know what to get me train related, so they just flat out don't, but I did get a $50 Visa gift card that I took advantage of and purchased this Athearn Ready to Roll GP38-2. I didn't have to, but I sold off my Bachmann GP38-2 so that I'd have some money to go to the Hamburg train show with. So that's gone, and I really wanted some more 4-axle power back on the layout, so we picked this thing up. I'm really excited for this thing, just because I've never really had an Athearn RTR Jeep before. I was a little disappointed when I found out that there's absolutely no pilot detail on this thing at all, which kind of stinks, but we're going to go ahead and detail it up just the same as we did the Bachmann GP38-2. I'll give you guys a closer look here. These Athearn Ready to Roll Jeeps, unfortunately, really, there's only a few upgrades from the blue box version that Athearn used to do with these things. One of those being the separately applied grab irons. And honestly, I think that's one of the only things. I mean, obviously they do come with knuckle couplers and whatnot, but for the most part, even the internals are very similar to that of the blue box model. So what that basically means is I think that thing is going to end up getting a motor upgrade. I have a extra Genesis, Athearn Genesis motor that's just lying around. that I think we're going to end up throwing in that thing. It'll also be getting a Tsunami 2 decoder for sure. It'll also get LED ditch lights installed as well. Lots of pilot detail. We're going to do everything but the coupler cut lever, just because I've tried to do those things before and it just does not end well for me. It will be my first attempt at trying to install functioning ditch lights, so that should be quite interesting, I'm sure. It's also going to be getting renumbered to, what is it? The number, I think it's 5659 or 5669, one of those two. That particular GP38-2 originally was a GP38 AC, and it belonged to the Lehigh Valley. And those of you who know me know that Lehigh Valley is one of my favorite fallen flags. So to have an ex-Lehigh Valley Jeep on the layout would be spectacular. I'd love to do that. So it'll probably be getting a renumber as well. It'll also get roof-mounted AC, as well as a horn relocation to the long hood and dual Sinclairs on the sides of the cab roof as well. So that's about it for this video, guys. We went over everything that's going to hopefully be happening in 2017 here. I'm really excited for this year. Got a lot going on. Should be very exciting. Hopefully we'll be able to get a full layout started. We'll know for sure come May if I'm going to be able to. We'll see what kind of apartment I end up in and what type of job I end up with. It's going to be a difficult spring semester. I got 6 classes to take instead of the normal 5, and 2 of them are actually the hardest classes that my university offers. So I'll have to really buckle down to make sure I get through it. But once that's all done, hopefully that'll mean that I can find myself a decent job and really start expanding on the locomotives and everything, and the rest of the rolling stock and whatnot. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for supporting me throughout 2016. I look forward to 2017, and thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good one.